Domestic violence and sexual assault has been a big part of my life from a really early age. And when I was a young child, I was sexually assaulted at a daycare facility. And then as I grew up, I was abused physically, emotionally, verbally by a family member. By the time I was 17, I had been raped by a boyfriend. And when I was 25, I was raped again by a so-called friend. And at that point, I felt an unimaginable amount of shame, and I thought to myself, how can I ever report this to the police or tell anybody about this because I let this happen again? I moved back to the state of South Dakota, and I was having a really tough time, and I actually stumbled across the Compass Center website by accident.
The Compass Center is a place for survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence to come and get help and healing through having counseling as well as advocacy, help with protection orders, help with finding community services as they get through the abuse and go out on the other side and have a happier, healthier life.
Right from the get-go, the staff was so nice to me and so warm and kind, and I was able to get an appointment that week. And that particular week, it was even a struggle for me to get out of bed every morning.
Kelsey's amazing. When Kelsey, she was one of my first clients when I began to work at the Compass Center. And when she came in, we used to go through a lot more tissues than we do now.
I don't think I could have handled it if one more person told me that it was my fault or that I should have done something else, or they questioned what I had done or hadn't done in my situation.
She was anxious a lot. She was worried. She had trouble communicating with it at work. She just always struck me as a scared little puppy. And then she blossomed, and it was magic, and it was awesome. And now I see her being confident and going back to school. She took a better job. She's standing up for herself. She's standing up for other people, and she's doing a lot of amazing things, and it's been really exciting to be a part of that.
I sat down with the counselor, and they didn't make me tell my story. They didn't deny me validation for my story, and they just let me tell what I was comfortable with and listened. They listened, and they believed me.
Their stories weren't heard and weren't acknowledged, and they weren't given any credence. Then they show up, and we know that we believe what they've gone through. We know that this happens to too many people.
I remember asking about the cost, because then my concern was the cost. And I was at a place where I didn't have any extra money at all, but I knew I needed help.
Many of my clients are struggling financially, don't have insurance, or it'd be a lot more difficult to be there.
And that counselor said to me, you've already paid the ultimate price. And after hearing that, I knew I was in the right spot.
Last fiscal year, we had over 1,100 people that we served as survivors at the Compass Center. And those people received about 8,500 different services at the Compass Center.
At the Compass Center, we have about 1,700 square feet, and it holds about 11 staff members. And, you know, most for dollars that come in, it goes right back to you know, our survivors, our victims, to help out with their needs.
I'm really excited when I think about my future now, because I see all bright things, and that was never the way it was before for me. Now in the years looking ahead, I see myself graduating with a second degree and hopefully being an advocate for other survivors and being someone that's willing to be vocal about sexual assault and domestic violence.
I'm really glad Kelsey did walk through that door, and I hope that more people will walk through that door, recognizing that that first step, opening that door, is an incredibly difficult thing to do. And that's the first act of courage and of bravery, making that phone call and showing up.
It's not their fault, and there's help at the Compass Center, and they can become survivors and thrive too.